Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, welcoming on the program. This all just happened by happenstance. Over in the spring, I attended an event that this young lady put on for victims of domestic violence, and it was incredible. And she is here with us this morning. The founder of S.M.O.O.O.T.H Inc., which stands for Speaking Mentally Outward, Opening Opportunities Toward Healing. And she is also the mother of our superstar Houston Texans, the wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Sabrina Greenlee is on Access Houston. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for coming on. So I'm going to tell the story real quick. I was at the mall last Friday in Macy's and just so happened to see Sabrina and Hazel. And I was like, yo, hey, it's KG Smooth. You know, I was at your event that you had over in the spring when you were pampering the ladies. And I said, I've got to get you on Access Houston because your story is so amazing. And she was like, well, let's do it. And Hazel was like, hey, how about next week? I'm like, come on in. And so here you are. So thank you for your time and for being here.
You're so welcome. I thank you for having me.
Oh, man. Well, first, let me get this out the way. Your costume Monday was amazing at Deshaun's party. So I know DeAndre, he was Aladdin. And were you Jasmine? Who were you?
I was Cleopatra / Golden Goddess.
Okay. Yeah. You looked amazing. That was an incredible outfit.
Well, thank you.
Did y'all have fun that night?
It was an amazing time.
Yeah.
My son, he called me, he invited me, and by chance, he said, Deshaun's mom said, she wanted you to come and he wants you there. And so we pulled all of that together in like 5 hours.
You looked great.
Thank you.
You looked great. That was an amazing costume. So let's talk about S.M.O.O.T.H. First, people may not know your story. So before we get into the organization, if you don't mind, tell us your story about domestic violence and how this has affected and really has been your life mission to bring more awareness to it.
About 7 years ago, I decided to get something going where I could actually help women give back. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I had a voice. I knew that I could make a difference, and So I came up with my organization called S.M.O.O.T.H. But before that, I was on a long path of destruction. As far as I was in 3 or 4 really bad abusive relationships, feeling worthless, helpless. I suffered from depression, anxiety. A lot of things happened prior to just getting to that point of what we call taking my power back. As a little girl, I dealt with molestation, going into losing 2 brothers to violent acts. A lot of people don't know about, that part. And so what it did was it just left me like what I would call a domino effect. One thing happening after another until you just get to a point where it's like I didn't care. And so I was attracting men that didn't care, had no moral values, didn't care about my life, my children's life, and was very abusive, verbally, mentally, physically. And so when I did regain some power and had went through all of these things, losing DeAndre's father in a car accident, a lot of things happened in my life. And I said, what was the one thing that I struggled with the most? And it was being beaten. It was being hurt. It was being abused, and feeling helpless. And I wanted to do something that I could help these women get on a path of just finding themselves and getting their lives back. And so that's how S.M.O.O.T.H came about. There were many avenues that I could have taken.
Sure.
Because I had been through a lot. But this was the one that I knew that I could be, the most impactful in.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you're there because, first of all, a lot of women who have been through any type of domestic violence situation, first of all, they're afraid to even come out, or they don't feel comfortable even talking about it because they feel as if, oh, well, I don't want to be felt, sorry for. I don't want this pity party, or I just don't want the information out there for someone to know that I was, so weak mentally, emotionally to allow some man to do this for me. So kudos to you, because a lot of women don't have that same courage.
Yes. And it's pride. It's a lot of things that stand in the way. So on this journey, I realized that talking about it, it frees me. It helps. If women could only understand that the more you talk about it, the more healing that takes place. It's a process. When you've been beaten down mentally, it takes a lot. But if you could just find your voice and start talking about it, even if it's just to friends or, relatives, counselors, organizations, like, I have some amazing women in my organization that, would love to, just listen. And so there's so many different avenues that women can take, but you first have to find the courage to just start talking about it. But I used to be so calm and quiet, and now I can't shut up because I know that there's healing in talking. There's healing, in just getting the word out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Sabrina Greenlee, founder of S.M.O.O.O.T.H. That's what 3 O's, the acronym, speaking mentally, outward, opening opportunities toward healing. So how long has S.M.O.O.O.T.H. been around? When did you said 7 years ago, right?
It's been around about 7 years now. I started in South Carolina, which I still have a chapter there. Mm-hmm. And there I have some amazing women. We've started doing Pretty Scars into Stars, Smooth Santa. So that's where it originated, South Carolina.
And what was the moment for you when you finally said, you know what, enough. I need to help other people. What was that moment, or what had happened to make you break from being silent about it?
Well, it took something really drastic to happen. I was dating a guy for about 4 months, and they decided that they wanted to take my life. So I was called to a place, and she splashed liquid Red Devil I mixed with Clorox on me, left me blind, put me in the hospital for over a month. So it took that to really just say, this is it. I'm tired. So I almost had my life taken, being in a relationship, a domestic violence relationship with a man. But then to come home blind, 4 children, single mother, when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's up.
That's right.
And so it took all of that for me to find the courage. Before that, prior to that, I felt like had that not happened, I would have still been, just in the same cycle. But that really that was enough. But it took that for me to say enough is enough. Yeah,
it would. The event that I was at that you had over the spring, where you were pampering the women. I think we were at was that Paul Mitchell?
It was Paul Mitchell.
Yeah,
here in Houston.
Yeah. That was so great. Talk about that, and how did that feel that Saturday? Because I had a great time. I mean, just seeing the women, just seeing their faces, because you could tell through some of the energy, like, they've been through some things. But that morning, they seemed so happy to know that someone cared and someone was going to take care of them and pamper them. Just talk about that morning. How was that for you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting us, because it takes the community to do what we do. It was really it was amazing to see these ladies. Some of these ladies, and by the way, we pampered 20 women.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot in itself. But these ladies received massages, pedicures, manicures, facials, hair, makeup. We went out to Davis Bridal and did their wardrobe. So it felt really good that day to give back to these ladies, to just show them that someone cares. And these ladies, so primarily what we do is we go into domestic violence shelters, homeless shelters, and these ladies are actively fighting. Mm-hmm. They're in the fight of their life, right then. And so we want to show them that we see you, we understand you took the courage to take your power back, and we want to help you transition to the next stage of your life. And so that's why we were in there. And it felt amazing. When you're caught up in the moment, I go in boss mode, so I just want everything to be right.
Right, yeah.
And
because I seen you moving and shaking.
I go into this perfection mode where I'm just like, because I want this to be an experience that they will never forget, so that they can remember this. Because as you know, all it takes is just one situation, one moment, and it could change an entire life. It could change their entire lives. And that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah. With October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, there's been so many great things, even though we just wrapped the month up. What were some of the things that you did? Because I've been seeing these purple T-shirts all over. So you are definitely, you're moving and you're working, and you're definitely getting the word out there, because I see it. So how did you all celebrate this past month with it being Domestic Violence Awareness Month?
We started with a campaign that we put out on social media throughout all of our outlets. It involved a couple of things. One was a raffle. Mm-hmm. So we had people do a raffle to come to the Houston Texans game, and that was successful. We also did the turkey leg hunt.
Oh yeah,
we were out there in full effect. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So we gave out T-shirts, of course, purple T-shirts.
Yeah.
And we gave out swag bags. We gave out backpacks, school supplies. So yeah, we're out there.
Y'all are out there now, and that's great, because I'm not here to call nobody out. I've been doing this show for a long time, and I get a lot of nonprofit organizations and folks that have a cause that come on the program, and I have to be honest, I don't see a lot of them as present as I see S.M.O.O.T.H. And wow. I'm not just saying this to be saying this, like it's really real. And you guys y'all doing a lot. You got the S.M.O.O.T.H Santa Toy Drive that is coming up starting on November the 18th. Let's talk about that a little bit. Doing something for the kids one time.
Oh, we're so excited about S.M.O.O.T Santa. We're going to have 4 drop-off locations. So we're going to start this on November 1st, and everyone will be able to go to our website to get more information about S.M.O.O.T Santa.
Okay, and we're going to start that November 18th. Yeah? November
18th we'll start the S.M.O.O.T Santa toy drive.
And then they can go to smooothinc.org. That's smooth with 3 O's. So SMOOOTHINC.org. S.M.O.O.T Santa. So who's gonna be the Santa, or is that a surprise? Who the S.M.O.O.T Santa gonna be?
Well, I'm still trying to talk the ladies into dressing up like elves. So
yeah.
We're still working on some things, but it's going. Once again, I want to create an experience for these kids and these mothers. So what we'll do is we're asking for new unwrapped toys. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take the time to wrap them, make sure everything's great, age appropriately, give these things out to the kids. And we're going to go in and just create a Christmas atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
in their space where they are. And
That's
just
nice.
make it a Christmas to remember, because these kids are already there. You know, they're not asked to be there,
Right.
and so we want to go into their space, make them feel comfortable, and just create an amazing experience for them.
Yes, no doubt. Listening to Access Houston, Sabrina Greenlee, the founder of S.M.O.O.O.T.H, is here this morning. I'm so glad that this is a conversation that we're having, because growing up, I witnessed domestic violence. My mom and her ex-husband, they used to fight, and so much to the point where even when me and my brothers would hear it, like, we would instantly, get scared. But my mother wasn't no punk. Like, she was fighting back. I mean, a lot of times she was beating him up, when he would try to. But he was one of those ones that when he would drink and get drunk, and then he would just become belligerent and abusive. And I remember the moment. My brother Keeson, he's the one that's up under me. He just couldn't take it no more, and he got into a fight with my mom's ex-husband, and that was the moment for my mother. Thank God, whatever it took, but that was the moment where she was like, you know what, you got to go, because now my sons, they're bigger now. My brother had went through puberty. Like, he had some height on him, had some weight. Like, and I don't want to see my child in jail, over you.
That's right.
And so that's when it was over. But I used to ask her. I would be like, yo, like, why did you stay? Like, why did you let him stay? Because there was one time where I had threatened to leave the house. I was like, yo, it's either going to be him or it's going to be me. And even for a while, like, I had went and lived with my grandmother for a while. But, when I look back at it, and, my mother was a young mother, and just, being in your, late 20s, early 30s, like, I could only imagine what it was like. And, I'm not here to judge. Everybody, stays for different reasons. But as I got older, like, I kind of understood, but I was also glad that, something finally clicked, and that she saw that we were more important than this guy to get him out of that. And what I'm most proud of is that I was always afraid that we might turn up like him.
Yes.
That's
it.
To becoming abusive, with our women and all of that. And I thank God that none of us are like that. As my brother said, he was like, no, Daryl showed us what not to be, what not to do.
Yes.
And so I thank God that we didn't turn out that way.
You know what?
Right.
Yes. But you're so right. 90% of men turn out to be abusers after seeing their mom being abused or being in an abusive home. They definitely turn out to be abusers themselves.
Yeah.
So we have to deal with that. And I call, my sons, my children, I call them survivors. And that's what we don't realize, that when we have to acknowledge that the children are survivors too. They witnessed these things. They were there. They, they internalize these emotions, as well as, because your mom is your mom.
Yep.
Mama is mama. And so that can have a lasting effect on you, as you grow into adulthood. And of course, monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
True that.
True that.
You tend to do these things because that's all you know. Learned behavior.
Right.
And so that's what we have to do. And so back to what you said about your mom, that's the number one question. Why do you stay? Why do you stay? There are a million reasons why women stay in abusive relationships. But so what we do is, I think that question, it has to be changed, because you don't know. There's so many things. Love is powerful in itself. You have financial situations, stability, loneliness. It's so many things. Depression, addiction. You know, some you know you can feed an addiction. Codependency, absolutely. So I think these are the things that we have to realize, and I'm just glad to be a part of the movement.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. You are a soldier on the front line. Do you hear me? Soldier on the front line of this thing.
Thank you.
For the women who may be going through something, what would be your message to them?
Understand who you are. Understand the power that you have. And dig deep, because you need to understand that it has been taken. Control. You are the things that has been taken from you. You can regain. It's a process. You can't wake up one day and say, you know, I'm just going to do this. There's a method to the madness. And never ever try to just leave. In the heat of the moment, have a plan, have an escape plan. Take your social security cards, your birth certificates, give them to someone, all of your important papers, give to someone before you try to leave. Never, ever leave while your abuser is there. And once you've got the courage up to do that, you know, go through with it. But understand who you are. You're so much more. You're so much more than what he's saying or what people around you saying about you. Like, look in the mirror. What I used to do is I used to put sticky notes on my mirror. So on those days that I felt horrible, I would put, I would write on there, I'm beautiful. I am worthy. I am somebody. And that reminded me when I walked in that bathroom with bruises on my face, black eyes, that I am still somebody. And so you fight through. They're going to be tough days, but you get through. And if you have children, you have to. It's not an option. You have to fight for those children. They don't deserve it. And you're going to realize that you're worth so much more. Get out, stay out, and just learn who you are. Take the time to get to know you, because all that's been taken. And just realize, it's okay, but you can take it back. You can take your power back.
Hey, that is the word from the one and only Sabrina Greenlee. For any of you all that may be going through, male, female, children alike, take that word. S.M.O.O.O.T.H organization, log on to the website, smoothinc.org. And I understand that you got a movie in the works. Something's going down here on the the film front. How much can you talk about that without, giving it all to us?
I can. I'm honored to say that I was asked to do a movie, a motion picture about my life from Brun Studios.
Nice.
A very powerful organization. They produced Denzel Washington's last two movies.
Okay.
Fences.
Yeah.
They did Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
With Nate Turner's story. So very powerful backing. And it's going to be called Sabrina.
Okay.
I can say that, and it depicts my life. The ups, the downs, young black woman struggling in this world against all odds. She's raising her 4 children by herself, and she has taken it, and she's taken it with stride. She's going to go through a lot of ups and downs, but in the end, she's standing strong. She's standing in her truth. And she comes out, shining bright like a diamond.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait! And so, I know there's going to be an A-list actress that's going to be playing the role.
We have an A-list budget.
Oh, hey, we got an A-list,
So,
but okay.
That's what matters. We
That's
have an
what's up.
A-list budget, and yes, we're going to get an A-list actor. I'm excited about that. I could throw up a couple of names.
Who would you like to see?
I would like to see Taraji P. Henson.
Taraji.
Because she has she just has the sass and the energy that I like, because I've never been I've always been a tough cookie now. I never took nothing laying down. But however, life happens.
You still here right now?
I'm a fighter now,
right,
and
exactly.
so I say
saying.
Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson. Those are my top two.
Well, that is beyond exciting. Any idea when does production start, or have you all started? With the preliminaries or anything?
The creative writing is in the making.
Okay.
So we'll do that. It's a process, but
right.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I have a lot of say in what's going on.
That's what's up.
So that keeps me busy on the back end.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited. We're doing the outline now, and we'll be doing some more writing in upcoming months, and it's taken off.
Okay. All right. And I know this talking about your grandbabies. I know the
my gosh. I have 6 of the most wonderful, adorable grandbabies. Yes. I am. So they call me Gigi. I honestly don't think any of them know my real name because I'm like Gigi. So yeah, I am. Yeah, they're wonderful.
That's what's up. Well, man, Sabrina, my heart is full. Like I'm glad that you were able to come. I'm glad that we rented. God works.
I'm telling you,
in some ways.
He is amazing. Won't he do it?
Just so random how we ran into each other at Macy's, and now you're here. I'm so glad that you are so free to tell your story. I'm crazy excited about this movie. I mean, this thing is going to be amazing.
It is.
And everybody save the date. Starting on November the 18th for Smooth Santa, the toy drive. For all of the information, for all things Smooth, just log on to the site, Smooth Inc. That's S.M.O.O.O.T.H inc.org. All of the information is there. And I'm just grateful and gracious for your time and you coming on the program. A long time coming. So thank you. Sabrina Greenlee, ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. And thank you for listening to Access Houston. Houston.